The 49ers are on the field at OTAs. Organized team activities are happening at Levi's Stadium. Media members there watching it. We've got reports, players, coaches talking about what's going on the field. The 2022 season is getting started very slowly. What do those reports say about the 49ers players? We'll get into that on another episode of Winky Wednesday. Locked On 49ers coming up right now.
You are Locked On 49ers, your daily San Francisco 49ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 49ers. Brian Peacock, Eric Crocker, and Nicholas Winker with you at BD Peacock, at Eric_Crocker, at Bay Area Wink on Twitter. Thanks for making Locked On 49ers your first listen on this Winky Wednesday. Your team every day.
Did you call it Winker?
Winker? I saw Winkler.
Like Jesse Winker, the baseball player?
Winker sounds different. I don't know why.
There's an L in there.
Yeah. Winker sounds like a nickname for like your genitals or something. I don't know. It just sounds
what's funny. When I played a lot of traveling baseball when I was young, and we played this team from Australia, right? And we were just chatting, blah blah blah. And I told them, we were exchanging names, and I said my name, and they're like, "It's like Wanker, right? It's like Wanker." I'm like, "No, it's not like Wanker at all."
Not really like that at all. I might have said Winker. I don't know what I said. Sometimes I black out, and I'm like, because I'm like producing a podcast and speaking at the same time, and I'm like, okay, which buttons do I got to press here? And my mouth is moving, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about. And so yeah, that I could have said anything if you told me, did you just say blank? And I'd be like, yeah, you know what? That's entirely possible. I might have said it. There's no telling. 49ers organized team activities. Are you guys pumped? Seeing some clips of some guys out there on the field, seeing Trey Lance whipping a towel out there, throwing some passes like 4 yards away from him. And like, we've got stats. We got stats from OTAs.
Stats from OTAs. I wasn't expecting that.
Ooh,
I don't know. I should have expected it. Expected it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, come on. There's going to be people keeping track of every single practice. Come on.
I mean, there was a lot going on at practice, a lot of reports, and some players speaking about different things. So we'll get into all of the notes here.
Speaking about different people.
Oh, and yeah, like players maybe assaulting a member of the media. Like,
you don't touch a man's hat. You don't do that.
So, yeah, Javon Kinlaw. We'll get into that in a bit. He's going to be in some trouble.
Real quick.
Yeah.
What if this media person would have like reacted to that, right? Like you knock my hat off, so like I knock your helmet out your hand, or I do something back. Then what?
He knew he couldn't do anything, right?
It's really hard. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, apparently Javon Kinlaw came up to Grant Cohn at practice and was calling him a suck ass so and so, whatever, some things we don't need to repeat. He was going at him a little bit. And he made it. He went out of his way to walk into an area where he didn't need to be, to where the media was, because the media is not allowed to go talk to players, right? But he came over to where they were on the sideline or whatever. And he was talking smack to Grant Cohn, one of the 49ers beat reporters for SI, and proceeded to not only say things to him, but knock the hat off his head. Now, I don't know if he did the thing where he hit him in the back of the head and knocked it off, or if he like flipped the front of his bill or something like that. But I mean, that is something you absolutely cannot do. Javon Kinlaw he's got a problem on his hands right now. And look, and this is a dude that wasn't on the field, right? He's had a hard time getting on the field, and he's just making life more difficult for himself. I mean, it's just a completely stupid thing for someone to do. Like, you can talk trash to a guy, but you don't come over and touch a dude. You can't do it.
My thing is, because I know how I am. I don't care how big you are.
Oh, dude, let me put it this way.
As a man, so
Javon Kinlaw,
he's the largest man, right? Like he's
the biggest man on the team. He's a big dude, but he picked somebody intentionally that he knew wasn't going to do anything back,
because he couldn't
come up to Eric Crocker and knock the hat off your head. That
I
would
don't
not
think it was. I think if I said to him the things that Grant says that he has said about Kinlaw, I think he would have reacted to me the same way.
Nope, I don't think so.
I think that in that position, he's in a position of power. You know, he knows that Grant's not allowed to talk to him, that he can go over there and say whatever he wants. And he knows that if he knocks the hat off his head, Grant's not going to fight him. Grant's not going to push him or anything. He could lose his press pass, right? Like, he knows exactly that he's in a dominant position, and he abused that. And that was really sad to see, because you don't want a 49er acting like that. It's childish.
I think
it's childish. You got to give Grant credit for.
No, y'all are giving Kinlaw too much credit. I don't think Kinlaw was thinking about any of that. I think Kinlaw saw someone who he's probably been seeing say stuff about him, and he's just had it up to here with it, and he went over and addressed it. I think that's what it was. I don't think it was like, like, oh, it's him, or oh, he can't do anything back. Like, I don't think it was any of that. Like, I think he actually probably wanted or more of a response from Grant.
It was playground status. He's just like, I'm gonna go walk over to the other side of the playground because that guy was talking trash.
Because that guy was talking trash. I think that's all it was.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, it's almost worse. Like, if he would have gone up to anybody and done that's not someone you can have on your roster. Like,
well, you just need thicker skin, right? I mean, like this guy's job is,
If you're at the podium,
don't touch him.
Say something, you can address somebody, you can tweet at him, but you can't go out of your way to physically make contact with somebody in that situation. You can't. You have to be a professional about it. And if you think that maybe one of the reporters is being unprofessional, you got to go through the right channels about that and get that addressed. But
did you see that CFL player? Did you see that whole thing at the airport?
No.
How he beat up the
CFL?
Yeah. I guess it was a receiver. He was previously with the Denver Broncos, and then he's in the CFL now, and I don't know. The video is kind of cut up, so you don't know. There's kind of a couple of different versions of it, but I've seen a couple of different versions, and both of them, neither one ended up very well for the Southwest employee or whoever that was. But the guy was like he like slapped him, right? He slapped the football player and like hit him. And then the football player just dogged him. I mean, just boom, boom, like just dropped him and knocked them all into this thing. It looked like he went into the, like, you know, where you check your bags and they put on the little thing in the slides.
The card.
Like, he into that. It was like getting checked in. Like, he's about to get shipped off. Oh, it was bad. So that player got suspended indefinitely by the CFL team. Now, again, I don't want people to, Eric, you didn't see the whole story. Listen, all I know is the two videos I've seen, each video shows the employee putting his hands on the football player first. There might be more. I don't know. But either way,
you still got to show restraint. You have to show restraint. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody pushes you, somebody smacks your hat off, somebody slaps you. Like, you need to know who you are. You need to know that you're going to get suspended. Like I said, Grant's smart because he probably would have had his press pass taken away. Yeah, he might have lost his job with SI. Like, you have to know who you are and what your actions, what your consequences will come from your actions, because that was, I don't care. Like, I get it. You get hit. Like, your natural reaction is going to be like, whoa. I'm going to hit you back. But, there's something to be said for some restraint, right?
I feel like you're trying me as a man. So that's my, and maybe that's where I have to get better, because like I am old now, but that's where my mind goes to,
Right.
But anyway, we talked enough about that whole thing.
But who comes out on top in this is Grant, because it's going to make him more popular. It's going to get him more clicks, which is not what Javon Kinlaw, I'm sure, wanted. And it's going to get Javon Kinlaw in trouble. And Grant was professional about it. Didn't do anything extra as far as, trying to fight back about it or anything on the spot, which would not have been a smart move for him to do.
No.
Would have been a smart move for anybody to do with the guy that big. As long as, and look, Kinlaw's got to be careful, because if he starts tussling with somebody, he might get hurt again too. So anyway, no. So, but yeah, I mean, and I'm kind of going at Kinlaw here because look, we
have to.
I'm closer to the media side than the player side, right? And you can't break that barrier. You can't cross that line if you're a player. And Javon Kinlaw has been a huge disappointment for the 49ers, and you can't go do stuff like this and make things worse. And clearly it's like there's something else going on. Like what's going on upstairs if you would even think about doing something that stupid. So
right.
Yeah, big stock down for Javon Kinlaw. I'm sure Grant's going to get a lot of hits on his YouTube channel. And look, even if he's got his press credential taken away, his YouTube channel is probably making him more money than his SI gig anyway. So I don't think he'd probably be even that worried about it if he did fight back. But right. I'm glad Grant did not fight back, because he might not be with us right now. I want to talk about who was at practice Javon Kinlaw wasn't practicing. There was a lot of other folks that were either not there or just spectators at practice. And from all reports and from all videos we saw, who looked good, what were they doing at said organized team activities? But I got to let the folks out there know about Athletic Greens. Our next partner has a product I use literally every day. I started taking AG1 because I needed those daily vitamins. There was something just lacking energy in the mornings, and I wanted to see if I could find something that could replace maybe some of that caffeine in the mornings. And AG1 is absolutely it. And I love my coffee so much that I still want to have coffee sometimes, but I'm having less coffee, more AG1 that is better for my gut health, energy, optimized immune system, and has 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to get my day started right. AG1 is lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free. It costs you less than $3 a day. So it's less than that cup of coffee if you go out and go to a coffee shop every morning. You are investing in your health, and it's cheaper than that cold brew habit. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will absorb quickly. And that's what's great about AG1. It's one scoop into one glass of water first thing in the morning. It's super easy. You don't have to remember anything about taking it with food or this and that. First thing, one scoop, water, boom, you're done. You got all of your daily vitamins. The simplicity is something that is key for me. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NFL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NFL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Thanks, everybody, for making Locked On 49ers your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, guys. So this is the roster of players that were not at OTAs for the 49ers. George Kittle and Fred Warner were just looking on, not seen at OTAs practices, according to Eric Branch. Were Deebo Samuel. We already knew he was going to be holding out and not going to be there. Jimmy Garoppolo, we already knew he was not going to be there. Alex Mack not there. Trent Williams not there. Kyle Juszczyk not there. And Ambry Thomas. So I don't know if they were around in the building for some of those guys, but those were the players that were not noticed at OTA practices, according to Eric Branch. And George Kittle not practicing, but he was there. And he did say something else about Trey Lance that I thought was interesting. He said the 7-on-7 stuff. Like, a lot of people want to talk about 11-on-11s. It's more important, right? But he said one thing is great about 7-on-7s right now for Trey Lance is he can get that timing down with Kyle's offense and with his receivers and not worry about a pass rush, not worry about the running game and some of these other things, because you're not going to take off and scramble with no pass rushers, no offensive line. So you've got to just work within the system, work within the timing of the plays. And so he said, Kittle said it's an element of practice that is probably really good for Trey Lance right now to get down the timing before it advances to more 11-on-11 work, then more, physical work, and then more, versus defenses where the scrambling element can help you, because you want to be locked in, making your reads from the pocket and hitting quickly and hitting with timing. And I thought that was a great point by Kittle.
Yeah, no, I coach 7-on-7, and one thing that I noticed right away, especially like, guys, Pop Warner, or even like some, high school kids, right? They're so used to just being a playmaker and utilizing their legs and not really having to read or understand defenses. So then they get in 7-on-7, and you could see their head just start spinning because it's pure coverage. And I mean, for everyone, for a receiver, you have to truly understand kind of how to run routes a little bit, settle in zones. You get to coach up a lot of those things. But for a quarterback, it's purely reading defenses and throwing it. Now, again, the advantageous aspect of it for a quarterback is there is no pass rush. But for a guy like Trey Lance, who likes to make plays off script and things like that, you are forced to get the ball out of your hands right now in 7-on-7 because everything is passing. So from that standpoint, I agree with George Kittle, which that can be a big, kind of thing for him when as it pertains to his development as a passer and how he's seeing the field for Kyle Shanahan.
Well, that's what you want, right? You want him passing first and then running later. So yeah, that's exactly what you want to see Trey Lance doing out there. It's funny. George Kittle actually said something else funny too. It was actually about Jimmy Garoppolo. He was asked, about Jimmy Garoppolo. He said, you know what? I haven't talked to Jimmy since they cleaned out their lockers. That Jimmy actually bought him an iPhone, but he hasn't called him back on it. So it's interesting that.
See, apparently Garoppolo's really bad at calling people back. His teammates, people always call him all the time. He's getting calls all the time, and he's like, he just doesn't call people back. And this was maybe this isn't like an anti-49ers thing. This is just like he's always been bad at calling people back, I guess. I am too. I never answer my phone. I don't know about you guys. I don't.
My text message and phones are pretty well. Peacock, you've answered every time I called.
You're important though.
If it's important, I answer.
Yeah. Oh, maybe like Eric's not going to call me just for nothing.
Right. Yeah. This is
not
important.
A text. Whoa.
This is business. I'm a professional. I gotta answer.
Did y'all notice any extra like spiciness in the all the press conferences or whatever?
Did you see the Trey Lance one?
I thought Trey Lance.
He's like, guys, listen. I no offense, but I don't care what you guys say about me. He's like, oh, good. That's what you want from your quarterback, right?
He said, I mean this in the most respectfully way. I don't care about what you have to say about me. Like,
good for him.
I hear you, Trey.
Dude, they need to put his locker next to Javon Kinlaw's. Kinlaw needs to learn that lesson from this 21-year-old kid.
Well, I think it was Grant Cohn that asked the question, like, how do you deal with like some of the things that have been said? People have like these strong opinions on you. And he was just like,
nice.
I don't care. Now, maybe his tone was like, it was Grant Cohn. I believe it was Grant that asked the question. I can't see anyone. I could just hear. But maybe that's what kind of just sparked this little extra spiciness, and which Grant Cohn has been pro Trey Lance, so I don't think he'd have an issue with him.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was just this like respectfully, but I don't care what any of you have to say. The only thing that matters is me continuing to, hey, prove people wrong and be the best player for my teammates. And I love that response. But it wasn't just him. Jimmy Ward, spicy, extra spicy.
Yeah, he's always spicy. He's like really started to embrace the spicy persona. I think Jimmy Ward has.
Yeah, like the villain. I love it.
He likes it. And then George Kittle with some of like his responses and how he was answering questions. And he was like, oh, there's a good question. Like, and he's like, basically like, finally, y'all asked me a good question. I'm just like, gosh, these guys are on it today.
Yeah. And Jimmy Ward was funny too. He's like, I'm going to talk trash because I can back it up. It's like, oh, okay. All right.
Love that. He said he's always talking trash with Trey Lance. So that's a good thing. Get a little offense, defense, trash talk going. What do you guys think about the few clips you saw of Trey Lance throwing in practice? Arm fitness looking okay?
Arm fitness
Make
looks
him a
okay.
bust.
I think my whole thing is I'm not going to worry about any clip or anything. Like people are going to nitpick. Like that's the thing now, right? Like everyone wants to nitpick his throwing motion. This is what I do know about his throwing motion. I've asked some of my buddies about it. I asked my quarterback guru guys, right? Greg Pinelli. I hit a JT O'Sullivan. And when I asked JT O'Sullivan after the Arizona game, hey, what'd you think about his release? And his response, very short. And, JT O'Sullivan, a very serious kind of person, but he just very short, no issues with throwing motion. And I said, okay, like I'm not going to have any issues with his throwing motion.
That was not a good question. And yeah, he's like, come on.
When you listen to everyone talk about it, including my guy Greg. Now, Greg does say he could get that wasted motion out where he kind of lifts the ball up to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's kind of like a timing mechanism for him. But aside from that, he's like, a lot of these guys have been throwing like a certain way their whole life. Like, so you don't want to completely rework that. Like, you don't want to completely rework something that has made them good. Now, can you work on the quickness of your hands? Maybe, probably the best thing is how you're seeing the field in your lower body. And when you listen to JT O'Sullivan on his videos, he talks about that a lot. The lower body, heel clicky. He'll talk about those things. Your base. My guy Greg Pinelli, he tells me all the time, it starts from your feet up. So a lot of Twitter people, mostly the fans, a lot of other people, they focus more on throwing motion. But the QB guru guys will, they'll try to work to tighten some things up. But a lot of things that they focus on more in the sense of his quarterback's accuracy and consistency and things like that, it sounds like it starts from the feet.
Yeah,
JT
and
Sullivan always talks about that, getting all 10 cleats in the ground.
All 10 cleats in the ground, they're driving it. And again, it's the lower body. But fans, everyone, they're so enamored with his release, and that's going to be like the biggest thing. Oh, it looks the same. Oh, long wind up, all this and the other. And the guys I talk to, like, that's not what they're worried about. They are worried about the feet and getting that situated first.
And it's the first day of OTAs, right? Yeah, and so you're not going to take too much out of it, but you look at some of the numbers, 15 of 17 or 16 of 18. You're kind of getting different reports, and you got to be at least a little happy about that, right? It's better than hearing like 7 of 18. Like that might be a little bit more concerning as someone that's coming into his second year, hasn't played a whole lot of football. So that's good. And there's a lot of short stuff, a lot of checkdowns in this, but he's hitting them, so that's a positive.
That's one of those things where you hear, 15 and 17, and it's like, oh, it's just practice. But if he was like 7 of 18, like you said, people go, oh my gosh, like he's a bust.
Sky is falling.
Yeah, it would not be just practice at that point, but whatever. We'll see what it starts to look more and more like. There's really not much you can take from it. I love that people are keeping stats at OTAs, but it really doesn't mean anything at all. So we'll find out more about what Trey Lance is once we start to see him a little bit more into training camp and in the preseason. So fun stuff, though. Guys on the field. I want to talk about who was blocking for Trey Lance. Maybe we could take something about the plans for the 49ers depth chart when we look at how offensive linemen were lining up, especially since both starting offensive tackles and the starting center were not practicing for the Niners, and some other comments from Kyle Shanahan about the future of Jimmy Garoppolo next. And you can bet on those San Francisco 49ers at BetOnline. Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports information. And there's actually some props now popping up at BetOnline for individual sack numbers, individual receiving yard numbers, and some fun stuff like that. So go to BetOnline. Even though it's not football season currently, there is tons of NFL football and futures that you can bet on right now. Not only those latest odds, news, sports developments, including NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, fights, MMA, boxing, live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. So get over to BetOnline right now. Use your desktop or mobile device to learn more about all of the trends and action. By the way, I've heard there's a ton of bets going in on Trey Lance as a dark horse MVP candidate, like big time money, more money on Lance than some of the front runners like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers to win MVP. And you can make those bets at BetOnline, where the game starts. 15 to 17, man. You extrapolate that out for a full season. That's MVP numbers, guys. Might be honest. It's not even counting his rushing. Here's the offensive line. Here's who was blocking for Trey Lance. The first team offensive line without, again, both offensive tackles. Trent Williams not practicing. Mike McGlinchey not practicing, still recovering from his injuries. And Alex Mack, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know if he's still in Ireland after he got married. But here's how the offensive line was lined up for Trey Lance with the first team. Left tackle, Colton McKivitz. Left guard, Aaron Banks. Center, Jake Brendel. Right guard, Jalen Moore. And right tackle, Justin School.
Brunskill's out too, right? With a knee or something?
Brunskill has a little something, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes. So he was not in the mix here. So of those players, Moore and Banks, the two guards, I think are interesting that the vacant spot is left guard. And Aaron Banks, the second rounder, looks like he's going to get the first crack at left guard over the fifth rounder in Jalen Moore, even though I thought Jalen Moore played a lot better as a rookie last year. But more on Jalen Moore in a second, because the second team offensive line, when Nate Sudfeld was in at quarterback, undrafted left tackle Sam Schluter was in there at left tackle with the second team. Sixth round draft pick Nick Zakel was at left guard. Street free agent. He was an undrafted free agent in 2019. Keaton Sutherland was playing center, not either one of the undrafted free agents, Jason Poe or Donovan West. Right guard was fourth round draft pick Spencer Burford. So he played all left tackle, left guard for the most part in college. He was at right guard. And then Jalen Moore, who was at right guard, moved out to right tackle for the second
Interesting.
team. But the big takeaway from me was Aaron Banks is going to get the first shot at left guard. And I guess that shouldn't be surprising, but he's got to hold off Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore got work at guard, got work at tackle, and that's key if you're going to be a backup to be able to do both. Colton McKivitz could potentially be that swing tackle for the 49ers, someone that suits up on game day and did play a big game, had to start at offensive tackle last year. Jake Brendel, is he going to make the squad this year and be there and be the backup center? Could he be the starting center if Alex Mack is gone? So that's another question I have. And then Spencer Burford working in at right guard and not even working with the first team at right guard makes me think that as probably he should as a rookie, but he's going to start down on the depth chart, even though he was a 4th round pick. And he started off at right guard and not left guard. And if you were going to be competing with Aaron Banks, now you're on the wrong guard side. And I don't know if we can take too much into this, but I'm just kind of trying to look into how this competition is going to look at the offensive line and see what the plan is for the 49ers. And maybe the next time they line up in some different spots. But right now, I think this tells us Aaron Banks is at least getting first shot at left guard. And then it's between probably Colton McKivitz, Justin School, and Jalen Moore as the top backups for the 49ers offensive line to have some guard and tackle flexibility. The only guy that played 2 positions was Jalen Moore, guard and tackle.
That definitely makes it more valuable, right? I mean, you want to have that guy that can, bounce outside if he needs to or hold down the trenches. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the week too. Like you said, what different lineups they run out there. Maybe they're just trying to fit pieces together since they're missing, 3 of their starters, maybe even 4 of their starters on that offensive line right now. So yeah, it'll be fun to keep an eye on that.
Kyle Shanahan said has a pretty good idea, quote unquote, about the status of Alex Mack, but said he's still in some other country. So, I mean, that's a long honeymoon.
There you go.
Like 2 months ago, right? But whatever. You're a veteran.
Some other things too.
It's like, dude, I'll show up in training camp. I'm like 40 years old. I'll show up. Just let me have a damn off season. Yeah. That's probably what Alex Mack's doing.
Especially
you want me back, give you time off.
How long has he been with his now wife? Like they might have been waiting for this moment for a long time. So it's like, dude,
right.
All right, we're going on our honeymoon. Like, don't call me about football stuff. But Kyle sounds like he's pretty sure with what's going on with Mac. And I did see something about a post where he was like, "Oh, Victory Mondays" or something like that. So maybe he's all in, and he's just kind of stringing it out. And Kyle knows that. And Kyle.
Are you trying to say that Alex Mack's new bride is already nagging him into not playing football?
Listen, my wife. When she met me, I was playing football. So she's good. She's kind of used to that. And but now you get used to a certain like, oh, he's home. And I don't know if this offseason, maybe if he started off thinking like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. And maybe she got used to him being around the house and doing those type of things. And, but a lot of wives
Tom Brady
actually can't wait for football to start. So the husband who's bored at home get like, go work, right. Go do your thing because you've been killing me. You change, the husband home being home changes everything around the house. Like the wife has a routine for the kids and everything, and and then the husband's home now, and it throws off the flow of everything.
I get the opposite vibe from my wife. It's like now I'm working from home a lot more, and I don't know if she's likes that as much. I just think she'd probably prefer me not to be around as much. I don't know.
You're always around, Peacock. Come on, man, give her some space.
Why don't you go to Ireland for a couple months? Some more quotes from Kyle Shanahan on Deebo Samuel. He says, "I feel the same, if not stronger." When he was asked about if he was confident in the situation with Deebo Samuel still, that he's going to be back. And so not only is he confident, he's even more confident than he was before that Deebo will be back. What do you guys think? Deebo coming back, even though he wasn't there at OTAs?
I have no doubt.
I saw some report about hanging out in Dallas, which we knew he was in Dallas, but then with like Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and stuff like that.
He's got some friends. Whatever. He's got to leverage right now.
He's at the hotel waiting for them to get off work. All right, can we play now?
And finally, Kyle Shanahan on Jimmy Garoppolo. He said, quote, I expect at some time he'll be traded, but it's not a guarantee. It went on hold when the surgery happened. So like he's like flat out saying that Garoppolo's not going to be here. Like this is Trey Lance's team. Jimmy G's not going to be in camp. His ass is gone, right? Like they're publicly saying, yeah, he's gonna be traded. It's like that's a weird thing for a team to say. Teams never say that.
Or are the media members gonna pick that up? And I mean mainstream media, right? To the point where they kind of stop with the narratives of, oh, he's not ready. That's why they still got Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, well, play this soundbite of a guy saying he got hurt. Like, we're trying to trade him. They never say that. They never post that. They talk about everything.
Yeah, it's really low hanging fruit for national media that don't follow the team closely, just to say, oh, rookie quarterback, young quarterback, veteran quarterback, went to the Super Bowl, went to the NFC Championship game. I wouldn't bet that Jimmy Garoppolo is not the starter in week 1. It's just the easy thing. You put a mic in someone's face, ask them about the 49ers situation. And that's just it's like the joke about why don't they make the plane out of the black box? You know, it's just the low hanging fruit. It's just too easy.
I get in my car this morning to take the kids to school, and Sirius Radio is on, right? It's on the NFL channel. And they're talking about the 49ers. I'm like, okay, this should be interesting. Then they're like, yeah, you know, they just didn't do enough, you know, to surround Trey Lance with enough weapons. And I'm like, enough weapons? Now, they're talking about including Deebo Samuel. Then they talked about without Deebo Samuel. But I'm like, dude, first of all, you got Trey Lance. You have George Kittle. You got Brandon Ayuk. And then outside of that, if you take away Deebo, then I get it. But if you have Deebo Samuel, how much were you supposed to do? Then they talk about, well, the Jets, they load up around Zach Wilson. They talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, man, they went out. They got a bunch of guys around him so it could take the pressure off him. 49ers didn't do that. And it's like, well, the 49ers already had 3 legit pass catchers, including a guy in Javon Jennings who it seems like they really like. So it's not the same type of urgency to add different type of weapons. They just need it. Can we have a 4th receiver?
Like, they're comparing a team a team that went to the NFC Championship game to 2 trash teams that, you know, didn't even sniff the playoffs last year. So that's a weird comparison to make.
It's silly season, guys. It's totally silly season. One more quote from Shanahan, just on some of those veterans that weren't practicing. He just said, you know, just being smart with some of those guys. There's no need to put extra, you know, mileage on Kittle and Trent Williams and Fred Warner and those guys. So not to be alarmed that those guys weren't practicing in OTAs. One more quote that I saw that I thought was interesting from Brandon Ayuk about Danny Gray talking about his speed, because Brandon Ayuk's a pretty fast dude, and he seemed like he was pretty impressed how fast Danny Gray was. So that'd be nice if the 49ers were able to implement like some legit speed, some like scares defenses type of speed out there in Danny Gray.
Well, Gray said that, right? He's like, I'm here to take the top off the defense. That's what I'm going to do.
I just mentioned all these pass catchers and didn't even mention Danny Gray, who they drafted in the 3rd round. And I think that, you know, that
Croc's a hater. Everybody knows Croc's a hater.
Well, you know, that lets you know that they're trying to do something there, like with adding weapons. Like, again, if I'm the outside looking in and I'm just a talking head on Sirius Radio and I see that they have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and they just drafted a speedster that ran a 4.3 in the 3rd round, like, you know, and they signed a guy like Ray McLeod, however they decide to use him. I mean, they have almost 50 catches last year. Like, to me, that sounds like a decent amount of weapons. Like, that would be good on any team.
Yeah, there's some weapons. There's some guys who can run the rock, some guys who can catch it, some guys that are good getting down the field, some guys that are good in the intermediate area, some guys that can run and catch and do a little bit of both, some guys that can block, physicality, speed. A lot going on in the 49ers offense. To be honest with you, I'm as worried about the offensive line coming together and gelling as I am about where Trey Lance is going to be, because I know Trey Lance is going to be a work in progress, but I know the talent is there, and I know that can come, you know, quickly, could come slowly. But what would really help him out is if the offensive line is really good at pass protecting for him and really good at run blocking for his running backs, and that would make his job easier. So to me, the offensive line is the thing I'm worried about most with this 49ers team going into 2022.
Yeah, the biggest loss, I think, was Laken Tomlinson in the offseason. I mean, I don't even think there's a close second.
Yeah, I mean, just the stability there. He played literally every snap and just rock solid. So, but they've got a lot of bodies, and someone's got to step up. Like one of those guys is going to be good. Burford, Aaron Banks, you know, Jalen Moore, Nick Sakel. One of these guys is got to be good, right?
You hope so.
Yeah. If you believe in player development, then you believe that, hopefully these guys take the next step enough, right? It doesn't even have to be this guy is just the greatest right guard or left guard in the league. But can he be a serviceable starter and continue to build on that? And that would be good for the 49ers.
All right, good stuff. The 49ers are on the field practicing. We'll have some more reports as we move on throughout this phase of the offseason with OTAs and mandatory minicamp coming up before things shut down again for training camp. We'll let you know if Javon Kinlaw assaults Matt Barrows during tomorrow's practice. And Wink, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on another successful Winky Wednesday.
Yeah, my pleasure, gentlemen.
Programming note, I am moving. This is my last podcast in my current studio, in my current home, moving. So tomorrow I will be AWOL and not available. So we're not going to have a podcast tomorrow, but we'll be back for you Thursday night, maybe doing something live. I don't know, but Croc and I will be back. I want to thank everybody for making us your first listen. We appreciate you. Talk to you then. Right here. Locked On 49ers.
See you.